Okay, and we are live. Welcome everyone to the first match of the 13th Clan Invitational Tourney. With me, I have Joe. What's up, Joe?
What's up?
Okay, and we're going to have a banger of a series, I believe. Like, there's absolutely no way these teams can disappoint. I think no matter what happens, we're going to get a pretty cool match. So we have team Save the Last Dance for Us versus Wildling Rush. I believe I can share my screen. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so here we have the matchups, and we're going to be doing this third one right here, which is Save the Last Dance for Us versus Wildling Rush, and we can see who the players are. Save the Last Dance for Us is going to be Kachar, Shadowsonic, and Magoo. So Kachar, winner of the previous tourney, and Shadow top 3, and Magoo, which I think Magoo participated, but I don't remember. Do you remember, Joe?
I'm not sure.
I kind of remember hearing his name.
I can say this is going to be a very exciting matchup because we rarely see two members of the Kitty team against each other.
Right. Yeah. So the other team they're playing against is Wildling Rush, which has imsux, which is like one of the other members of the Grumpy Kittens, and then Groove, which is a very well-known player in in-houses. He doesn't. I don't think I've seen him in tourneys, I believe, if I recall correctly. But he plays with everyone all the time. He's in every in-house all the time. So I think most people know him. And Sodon, which is I believe. I haven't seen him in either in-house or tourneys, so it's gonna be interesting to see what he can do. Also very interesting, so Magoo is on the same lane as imsux, while Sodon is in the same lane as Kachar. So the kitties are kind of avoiding each other. They're not in the same lane. It's gonna be interesting. And Groove versus Shadow, man, like what a showdown, I believe, between these two players. Like they're both Protoss's only players, kind of. Like that's their preferred race from what I've seen them play. So I'm really excited to see what they think of the PvP matchup, because it's a matchup that I think it's kind of like, I don't think it's set in stone yet. I'm very curious to see what their take is on what's the best play. And you know they're going to be coached by Kachar and imsux as well. So like this is a team game, right? Like the kitties are probably telling their teammates like, okay, we're going to do this strategy. So I'm very curious to see like what they think is the best way to play PvP. And yeah, okay, so we're started here at the top. We have the Wildling Rush, so imsux, Groove, and Sodon versus on the bottom side we have Magoo as a Terran, Shadowsonic the Protoss, and Kachar the Terran.
So right off the bat, imsux starts with a full bio lineup, Marauder Reaper, and bottom team 3 Reaper.
Okay, so
this will
yeah, go ahead.
This will definitely favor the top team in this battle here because of the Marauders are very strong versus Reapers. So top team takes mid advantage first.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much of a good thing that is, because TVT is kind of a nightmare to play, to be honest, lately. Like, if you see just 3 Reapers, you can maybe like they're going T2. Like, you don't actually know what the opponent is doing. There's a lot of mind game there. But I want to talk about right now what's currently happening. So, Shadowsonic went for Mass Zealot. So, clearly Kachar told, or the team decided, you know, that Zealots are the way to go. And I'm curious to see how imsux team is going to deal with this. The Zealot leak was strong enough to just clean the Marauders. It's
yeah, and you see Kachar pushing bio, but he didn't go all in on his looks like his army here, so he could see a T2 there pretty soon.
Yeah, and I think imsux did the right thing. So he hasn't confirmed what his opponent is doing. So he hasn't really gone T2 yet, I believe. Yeah, he just canceled T2, so that's very smart. He saw, okay, Magoo's going a lot of Marines. I can't really go Liberators here, which is, I think, what he was trying to do. But I think now that he saw the Marines, he's going to feel pretty good about staying with Marauder Reaper.
Okay, so that blink back was slightly late, so the stalkers are not going to be able to use the bunker for protection. And we have Liberator. This could be very dangerous for the top team, these two Liberators. They do a lot of damage, and there's no Marines coming from imsux, so these Liberators are just going to be able to just hot shot the bio.
Okay, yeah, but Magoo, he didn't really have to clear. He just, like, stayed there. Like, because the two Liberator leakings are just so strong. And Kachar, you see, he's trying to play around. He didn't want to kill the Marauders. He was kind of like trying to siege on the Marauders, so the Lib stayed there. But you can see it kind of backfired a little bit. Didn't really achieve much. Groove just got a pre-blink, so I don't know how effective that was. But if they get to pull that a couple of times, maybe with more Libs, that's gonna be really strong. But now we do get to see the mass stack coming
Yes.
from Wildling Rush.
This is definitely a considerable stack right here, very dangerous.
Yeah, and I like what Groove did there. He blinked to the side, avoiding the Liberators, because he knows that Sodon doesn't really have any anti-air, so the Stalkers are the main thing he wants to protect, right? So he just blinked away, saved the Stalkers, and the Stalkers were able to clean the Libs. And now it's going to be Mass Marine against Mass Reaper, and that's just not a fair fight. You can see imsux has 1-1, and those Reapers, man, they really benefit from those 1-1 upgrades.
Yeah, that is a lot of Reapers. And Groove piling on, almost has 2 full lines of Stalkers.
Man, what a crazy back and forth game. Like, I don't know who's gonna take this yet. Like, you see the bottom team sometimes like stacked Liberators that looks so strong, but then at the same time, now it's Groove who's stacking every single time. And man, if Groove manages to stack with Sodon, that's gonna be really strong. Okay, but here we have a Raven out. That's a very early Raven.
This is good positioning for the Liberators, but there's just so many Marauders. So these Liberators are going to survive. They're going to really need this push right here.
Okay, let's
that
see.
But,
yeah, imsux has no anti-air. These Liberators are going to stay alive 100%. There's nothing to shoot at them, but the question is imsux going to be able to clear Magoo? No, he's not.
Yeah. And I think these Liberators are going to stack with this Toss army. Let's see the siege. And oh, the Stalkers caught the Liberators. Those odds are going to go down.
Yeah, but the Liberators aren't going to contribute much to the fight because... wait, no blink? Okay, so that was a little bit late of a blink from Groove, but he manages to blink. That's what I was trying to say.
Let's see how much damage here we can get from the Liberators.
With just Lib, you can't really siege on the Stalkers. They just kind of keep blinking away. You can never really hit them. That's why you need some interference matrix usually. But it's not enough. Some Stalkers survive, but Kachar has so many Marauders, he's going to be able to clear this. Okay, now this is starting to be painful. Like, there's Liberators every single round. The bunker may be down for them, but this is looking kind of in their favor so far. Like, Wildling Rush did manage to take the advantage, killing that bunker. That's 100 minerals for each member.
And then the are helping clear the Ravens as well. So the Libs can stay alive.
Yeah, it sucks hard to make Ravens, but I'm not sure how strong the Ravens are going to be with that many Marines at the bottom.
Yeah, and Stalkers with Liberator support is very strong.
Yeah, but you can't really kill the Stalkers with Liberators. The Stalkers are just a little bit too slippery, but there's so many Stalkers from Shadow.
And now we see a very heavy air build coming from Kachar. And imsux has 1 Raven, so going to be very difficult to stop those Liberators. Here come the Marines.
Yeah, the bio is just dying.
Okay,
so,
good shot.
Yeah, but disruptors, when there's Liberators leaking into your wave, is kind of painful. You have to pre-shoot, otherwise the disruptor just dies and you never get to shoot. And then you're just shooting it at a leak. And then it's kind of harder to stack. It's just everything about going disruptors when you're losing feels really bad.
Yeah, I think it was more of just an effort to try to protect the bunker as much as he could. That's about all he could do.
Okay, but this is a little bit of a stack. Now, Groove did blink back. I'm not sure about that. This is a lot of time that the Stalkers aren't really contributing to the fight. But they are now outside of leap range, and Kachar did not re-siege. So these Liberators are going down. Actually, they really used... That was the last window that they had once the bunker went down to stack some Stalkers, and they are achieving it. Oh my god, this game is so close. This is completely unbelievable. Both teams used the cannon dying to stack and push the other side. Like, this is crazy level of play we're seeing.
It's a lot of back and forth of what we want to see in an exciting game, right? So,
yeah, this game might as well be the finals, you know, of this tournament. Like, this is so crazy that we're getting to see this as the opening match of the tourney.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this Lib Raven build will work once the top team starts pushing them back. If they're able to make a big stack and push back, but it's going to be very difficult with all those Ravens.
Yeah, and Sodon has Marines. He has so many Ravens. Like, he's already set for Kachar's Lib play, right? So I don't know. This is looking really good for the Wildling Rush.
Yeah, and the Reapers are just eating the Marines alive.
And you can see that imsux is feeling really confident. He already has a gas up. He knows what's up. He knows how far ahead he is. Once those Terrans start leaking into the other wave, the Bio Army just does so much damage to the other wave that it's really hard to come back. And without the cannon support, they're just in for a good time. Now, they still need to have some...
Very good.
Yeah, they still need to have some good disruptor shots. And Groove did get a 0-1, 0 kills on one disruptor, and 6 on the other. Nice dodge there. Dodges the interference matrices out of Kachar.
Okay, so Kachar is on T3 Liberators now. But I have seen Kachar stack air on the Nexus. He can do it.
Yeah, no, he's definitely done it so many times in the past. This guy has so many games under his belt, right? Like, he's played so many times, and he has come back in a lot of them. But I don't know, like, at the same time, imsux' team, like, I think they also know how to prevent the stacks really well. Okay, some dodge out of Shadowsonic, but there's more Ravens from imsux. Manages to dodge the first anti-armor missile, but not the second one.
There's disruptor shots flying everywhere. Kind of difficult to track them because there's so many of them.
Yeah, but they're so bad. Like, you see Groove 3 disruptor shots and only 1 kill on one of them. 0 on the other. So maybe not the best disruptor shots. But it doesn't matter. They're so far ahead. It's crazy. You can miss 3 disruptor shots and still somehow win your lane. That is crazy.
Yeah, because they're both trying to, like, pre-shoot each other. So it's really about blinking and all timing and so many things there. It gets very shaky at this point.
Yeah, I think from what I saw, Groove was trying to disruptor shot the stalkers that just blinked. But since the disruptor shot is... The disruptors are pulling the disruptor shot away. And so he's kind of being missing because of that. I would like to see him shoot at the disruptors first before he starts attempting to shoot at the stalkers.
Oh, definitely, for sure. For sure.
Okay, and Void Rays making their appearance. So Groove is going to make some Void Rays. Some very interesting developments with the Void Rays recently. Like, there was a period where Void Ray was the thing to do, right? Like, everyone was playing Void Rays to some degree. and then we kind of moved on into a period where everyone was making carriers, and you can see that the Void Rays are kind of making a comeback now with people using them more and more in in-houses. It's always interesting to see the meta shifts.
That's true. You're definitely seeing less Void Rays and more like Templars, carriers, things like that. Problem with Void Rays is they can just be Matrix and just shot down by the turrets.
Yeah, it's not a really good trade for the Raven, right? Like, because the Void Rays is even more expensive. They just get Matrixed and turret down, like you said, and the Raven is cheaper than the Void Ray.
Okay, so we have 4 Liberators stacking Kachar.
Oh my god, look at the kills on these Liberators, 15, 14. Oh my god, this is insane. And they survive. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
That was a really good siege by Kachar. I think that Magoo's wave is going to be able to catch him. This looks like a comeback right here.
Well, that's a lot of Ravens that are still alive. Let's see what they can pull off. imsux is going to catch, and he has a lot of Liberators as well, so Kachar can't really shoot at those. But man, that's a lot of Marine Raven from Magoo.
I know, what a comeback. Wow.
Yeah, you can never really count these players out of this game. Like, I still don't know who's going to take this. We can see that most of the players have gassed except for Kachar. And he just gassed right now, of course. So I think everyone is preparing for the latest stages of this game. You can see Groove now having some carriers. So he did eventually transition into carriers. And now we're getting to see Thor. So everybody on tier 3 units.
Yeah, that's the thing about Liberators. If they stack on a wave, they're just devastating the other team.
How many Liberators does Kachar have? 9 Liberators.
Yeah, with 3 armor and 2 attack, so they're going to be hard to kill, and there's a lot of them.
And they're all so spread out as well. Like, it's kind of hard to kill them the way they are, and then Ravens are catching them. This is looking really good. I don't know how the top team is going to be able to recover from this.
Yeah, Kachar actually hit a really good siege right on the planetary fortress as well, and he took a lot of damage. I mean, he gave a lot of damage to the Protoss player. Okay, we have some carriers backing Thor. Here comes Kachar with his massive Liberator army.
Okay, let's look at this from Kachar's perspective. So let's see what he's doing.
Wow, those stores just disappeared.
I don't know. That's a lot of Liberators, and there's Ravens. There's carriers as well. This is a big army from the top team, but the problem is that Magoo has just such a big cleanup crew. Like, he has all the Marines, all the Reapers. Like, he has enough army to deal with whatever leaks.
Yeah, he has a massive bio army. And the Marines are really helping kill the air, which helps out Kachar greatly.
Okay, yeah, and Stalkers are... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the problem with going like heavy Marauder Reaper late game, because if there is an air leak, you need those Marines to absorb those shots. You know, that's what we're kind of seeing here. But
yeah, well, Marauder Reaper is strong against bio, but it's not really strong against any kind of air transition or air leaks. So it is kind of a risk. When you go Marines, you're kind of either depending on your opponent to go T2, or you're depending on your teammate leaking into your wave and somehow helping you win. And you know, like, after that, you're just not gonna lose. Because you have so many Marines, you're just good against anything they can come up with.
I mean, Marines are just great to add, to a possible air stack, because they can shoot up where Marauders and Reapers cannot.
Interesting. Shadow hotkeys the disruptor. Group 1. Kind of peeking into Shadowsonic's life.
So, what are your thoughts at this point of the game? Do you think top team can still push back, or do you think that bottom teams is going to kind of close the deal here?
Well, I know what they're thinking right now. So, imsux just sold a lot of his army for BCs, and these BCs, man, like, okay, it is kind of scary that Kachar has a lot of Marauders, but right now the BCs are going to stack. They only have +2 armor, no attack upgrades, no Yamato. So I don't know what these BCs can do, but this is looking like a really good stack. There's a lot of Liberators as well. I think there's 8 Liberators right now alive. So
yeah, this is a very big air step.
And this is going up against the Protoss army. Liberators are so insanely strong against the Protoss army. Look at the Stalkers. They're just gonna go down. Only 1 attack upgrade. I wish it was 2. But I also can't blame him. And the comeback is happening, whether I think it's gonna happen or not. This is... Every color is represented here right now. So let's see how Kachar is gonna be able to deal with this. He has a really good army. Marines, Marauders, Thors, and Libs. But I don't think he has enough anti-air. Look at the amount of Ravens and Carriers still alive. This is just too much. And Wildling Rush turns the game around. My god, what a sick game 1. I think
it's still possible bottom team can come back. There's still a lot of Ravens and Bio from Magoo. They might be able to rally and come back.
Yeah, but these Marines are attacking BCs, and BCs with +3 armor, the Marines just tickle them down. They don't really have a high DPS against BCs. And you can see imsux is blinking the BC's front because now the Carriers are targeting the BCs, and the Carriers do barely no damage against BCs. This is extremely well played by Wildling Rush. They managed to clean this leak. This is 5 Carriers now. I don't know if... Man, it was looking so good right now for Save the Last Dance for us, I believe. And now it's looking so good for Wildling Rush.
So I'm thinking there'll be a sell on the bottom team to try to save this.
Yeah, the sell... Yeah, I gotta agree. The sell from the top team is what got them back, right? Like, imsux sold a lot of his bio. He sold them for BCs at the right time.
Yeah, it was... The timing was right on top, but this isn't going to be enough to kill the Nexus. So I think bottom team will still have a chance to maybe sell their some of their units and maybe try to counter them. So this game is still very much not over.
Okay, these Carriers should be able to stack, but they have no armor upgrades against these BCs that have +2 attack. So these Carriers, they're gonna die pretty quickly. Okay, we have disruptor shots on the Nexus. And I think some Liberators are going to be able to survive from this, maybe?
Okay, we have stores from Magoo. And we have 2 stores stacking from Kachar. Will this be enough to kill this massive air army from imsux?
Yeah, there's just no way. Only 4 Thors against this many BCs. Like, there's 4 BCs. There's a BC for each Thor. Okay, now imsux manually warping his BCs to the bottom, trying to protect them. Because he actually wants the BCs against the Protoss, right? Like, he doesn't want the BCs to defend against the Thor, he wants the BCs to defend against the Carriers. That's why he's trying to blink back, stack with Groove, and try to protect the Carriers from Groove.
So the good thing about Marines is that though they're not going to really do any damage to those BCs, they will absorb shots while the Thors are hitting the air. So they're kind of like buying the Thor's time to do some damage.
Yeah, but that's a very expensive meat shield army. Because ideally you do want a little bit more Thors because the Libs are just so strong against Marines.
Yeah, and he can't really go Viking because the BCs are just going to eat that. So this is a massive Thor army.
Okay, but you can see imsux is already getting prepared for this. He made a lot of hellbats. Okay, but yeah, this is, I don't know. This is a lot of BCs. This is looking kind of dangerous. Okay, so imsux did, I think, was the right play here. He suicided the BCs. He just jumped them into the Thors to protect the libs. So this time the libs is what he's trying to protect the most. He tried to do as much DPS as he could into Shadowsonic's army. So I think that's very smart. And I think that's working out well for them because they are still clearing. Then that was a lot of Thors, man. That was like, what, 10 Thors?
This is a hell of a game right here. Hell of a game. Look at this. This is almost a dead heat. I mean, the carrier is very low on health. This is back there just sniping these liberators. There's a tank out. Oh, Sodon was able to hold off Kachar.
Okay, the Tempest is still alive. Only one kill, and it goes down.
So I think this really comes down to imsux army and Magoo's army, because if somehow Magoo can beat this army, bottom team can come back. Oh, it's so close.
Yeah,
there's just so many liberators though.
Yeah, but once you see like the Marines disappear, the Thors disappear instantly, like after the Marines die. Oh, that was a very good disruptor shot. How many kills was that? 6?
A lot of carries.
2?
Both teams playing their absolute hardest in just this first game. Not leaving any room for error, doing everything they can to win.
I mean, man, this might as well be a tournament finals. Like, this game is so good. This is peak direct right here.
It's kind of hard to watch a game like this and then follow up with your game, right?
Yeah, I don't think the next matches are gonna be as exciting as this one. This is just like on a level we haven't really seen before, I believe.
You can see that both teams' leaders are probably just telling their teammates just everything step by step, like playing this chess game.
Yeah, you can really see that like both teams have really like evaluated their options. Like I think imsux selling and going into PCs at the perfect wave. Like he did it the exact perfect wave, literally. It's so crazy. And then like all the times the Bido has gone back and forth, the dying of the cannons, using that to push the other cannon. Like it's been so crazy, really.
Yeah, I mean the timing has just been impeccable from these teams as far as when to stack, when to sell, when to execute, all that stuff. It's kind of mind-boggling now. When you're actually playing these games, you don't really think about too much stuff. You just kind of do it like naturally. But when you actually see it happen, you're just like, what is going on here? Just looks like madness. That's a lot of immortals coming. This could be game. And this is game. Wow, what a game.
So many carriers, man, from Groove. Finally manages to take down the Nexus. So GG is called, and Wildling Rush is gonna take game number 1. Now this is a best of 5, so we're not done yet. Man, if this is the first game, I can't wait to see what the other 4 games are gonna look like. Like this is peak direct strike right here.
I mean, I think it's fair to say after watching that this is a 50-50 series, because I mean, I just think any of these games can go either way. They're very evenly matched. All right, so which matchup do you favor here?
Okay, wait, for 1 second. I'm gonna start the game. I think everyone's ready. Okay, yep. Okay, so which one do I favor? Well, the difference is now that Groove is in first position, and the other difference is that Shadowsonic went from Protoss to Terran, right? And a little bit of the positions switched, right? Like basically Wildling Rush kind of rotated, while Save the Last Dance for Us moved Kachar to middle. They also rotated and switched Terran. I'm not sure how Shadowsonic's TVT is, especially against imsux, right? Like imsux is such a hard player to beat in TVT. It's really crazy to see what he can pull off. Like I'm learning so much from this game, just seeing him what he does.
So how about just race matchups alone?
Yeah, race matchups alone, triple Terran should be Protoss Terran. No debate.
Really?
Yep. That's how it should go. Triple Terran should win. That's, like, I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors right now, where triple Terran is better than Protoss Terran, and then you have Protoss Terran, which is kind of like a little bit better than Zerg Terran, and then Zerg Terran is kind of better than triple Terran. So I feel like it's a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors, the matchups. And of course, there's also the mirror matchups, which are kind of hard to play as well. And I do think that the triple Terran is favored. But let's see what they can come up with. Like, who's going to go T2 from their side? It looks like they haven't quite decided yet if Magoo or Kachar... Oh, yeah, no, never mind. Kachar is tier 2. Okay, so he's going to tier 2.
So I think I'm going to disagree on this one. I think the PTT is a favored matchup because I think that the T1 Protoss is stronger than the T1 Terran, and even if the Terran goes Lib Raven, it gives the early advantage to the PTT team.
Well, you can see what strategy they're gonna go for, right? Like you can see that Kachar's team Save the Last Dance for Us. He's after the Protoss, and he shows this on purpose. Like he went after the toss, so he's gonna try to stack some Lib Ravens on the toss, and then hopefully stack with Shadowsonic. But it is kind of weird. Shadowsonic is at the back, and he should be front. This is a lot of Marauders. Actually, this might already be cannon. They don't have anything to really stop these Marauders.
Right, so they're going to try to go for a late game strategy, bottom team. And it's really, the problem is 2 Terran is enough, I believe, to prevent an air stack, even with 3 Terran.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's already a lib stack. Like right here, it's right here, right now. There's a lot of libs, and there's a lot of bio coming from Magoo now as well. So these bio army is gonna completely wreck the remains of Groove's army. There's no sentry here, barely any stalkers, so not gonna be enough to clean the libs, and they're still alive. These libs are not dead yet.
Really good. That's really good positioning from Kachar.
Yeah, now Sodon is forced to make Marines, and he's not... I don't know if he's going to be able to beat this. He has so many Marauder Reapers still. This is 5 libs with... They do have 0 armor, but look at this. There's not enough Marines.
No, I think at this point, the Marauder Reaper is not very useful against this air build.
Well, but you can see imsux, he's built on the other side. He's gonna completely ignore the Liberators. If you can't beat them, ignore them. Let the bunker deal with them, apparently. Okay, and these Marines are gonna go down. Now, one of them is still alive. He has to re-siege.
So I think if top team can hold this long enough, they can still control the game.
Yeah, these Adepts should be able to beat the Marines. I don't know about these Blink Stalkers in the front, but there's so many Adepts still alive, and they do have +1 armor, and they do have glaives. And that is going to be enough to clear. Now, the problem is that they're clearing into Kachar's wave. So now Kachar can siege on these mass Adept armies. And these 2 Stalkers are just not going to cut it. You know, they're not going to be able to clean this. But now, let's see if the Marines can clear this, and they can.
Right, so yeah, if the Terran players are able to clear the air, they should be able to cruise to victory, because if there's no air stack, I don't see how the bottom team can come back.
Yeah, no, I'm taking notes these games. Like, I'm saving these games. I'm gonna study these replays. These games have been really good on like what to do, like, race versus race, and how to position yourself, and like what's the best strategy to go for. Like, I think this is really crazy. I'm definitely taking notes here.
Yeah, I just think there's just so many variables in Direct Strike that there's no real clear answer to anything, because it's all just situational, in my opinion. Like, there's just so many things that can happen.
Well, there's sometimes you land 2 disruptor shots that kill 10 plus stuff, and you just roll the opponent. Sometimes you miss them all, and the game suddenly turns back around. You never know when there's a toss and there's disruptors. Like, anything can happen. And when there's libs, you can never really count a team out until the last moment, right? Like, usually libs can stack even at the 18 or 20-minute mark. It's so crazy. It's really fun to see.
That's very true. Very true. But really, these guys are all experienced players, and there's very little room for error, because the other team will definitely take advantage of those errors.
Yeah, look at this. Magoo's army is on Mass Marine, and there's like High Templars already. So he's being very sure about what, like, he doesn't want to risk it on Disruptors missing, right? Like, he's taking no risk at all with this High Templar. And the High Templar also serves a double purpose, because, I mean, yes, you get the Storm on the libs, and it does a lot of damage, but it also kind of prevents Kachar from going Ravens as well a little bit. Because if you have a High Templar leaking, it feedbacks all the Ravens, so it kind of makes them all useless. Like, I'm not sure what Kachar can do here to turn this game around.
So I think it really comes down to is how many Liberators can Kachar stack on the Protoss leak and then stack with the next wave. I think this is their only chance.
Yeah, he really needs to siege on the Nexus, but I'm not sure he's gonna be able to get that opportunity. Magoo's army is just a little bit like too big. So he doesn't really get the chance to siege at Nexus. He's sieging a little bit away from the Nexus. Now he is tier 3, he has BC, he has +2 armor, he has all the tools needed to stack.
Well, it's going to come down to really, really good positioning with those libs in bio.
Okay, yeah, one of the libs goes down, but there's still 5 Liberators and a BC left alive. Now, is this going to be enough to deal with imsux's army? imsux has a lot of libs, man. 9. Crazy.
That's a lot of Liberators, but they're not very good versus BCs.
That is very fair. And actually, there's only 3 libs left. This is still 4 Ravens. All of imsux's army is gonna go down as I was talking.
There go the Liberators.
Yeah, Save the Last Dance for us is actually gonna get a massive stack, and there's no disruptor, so there's no way to deal with this bio army instantly. A lot of the Marines still left over, and they actually managed to turn the game. Man, you can never count these teams out. This is just crazy. I can't believe this.
That's the thing. It's like anything can happen at any time, right?
Yeah, I keep being proved wrong over and over again.
No turrets from the Raven. There's still no energy, not enough energy on them.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Liberators.
Yeah, and these libs are 2/2 libs, so they are kind of good at dealing with Ravens. The lib anti-air armor, anti-air damage really needs those attack upgrades to do anything. But he has them, and now it's Liberators against a Protoss army. Oh,
yes, I
so
think
sad.
if we turn, break the bunker and get past it, it's going to be very, very difficult for the top team to come back with 3 Terran. So that's where the late game advantage goes to the Terran. So I'm just thinking, if top team can hold late game versus if they can win it, but that timing on those liberators was just spot on.
Yeah, and you were saying, I remember you saying at the beginning of this that you believe the Protoss was favored. You still say the Protoss is favored right now?
I think that the Protoss is favored in the early game, and if they can hold, they can win it. But you have to be able to hold it.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the hard part, right? Like holding, like when you're a Protoss and you're leaking into a Terran, that Terran just has such an easy time stacking against you that, you know, this sort of thing just is very easy to happen, right? Like suddenly the Stalkers die to the Nexus, suddenly the next wave is already here and there's 6 libs alive, and you know, you leak 6 libs and then you're dead.
That's what I was gonna say. But that's easier said than done. You know.
It is very hard to do, but when there's a Protoss, I'll say that it's the easiest one, right? Out of all the races, Toss is the easiest one to stack libs against.
Sure. It's just because of the Stalkers. Libs just love stacking on Stalkers.
Okay, anti-armor missile lands on the clump of libs and Thor, so they're all anti-armor missile, but they are alive yet still. Now, imsux does siege, but he didn't siege on Marines. Okay, now he did.
Okay, this looks like a good stack right here.
Okay, I thought I thought the Liberators were about to expire, but that was not it.
So I'm sticking by what I said at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, this is a lot of Ravens. There's more Ravens from the top team than from the bottom team. The Thors go down to the Libs. Really good siege there for imsux. imsux is now going to kill the other Liberators and still siege. Dude, these Liberators, they all have like 12, 9, 10 kills, 14, 15. Sick value. Sick value.
I think we both have good points of how both teams can win it. So, like I said, it goes back to what I'm saying. I think all these games are about 50-50.
Well, I think one team is gonna win, and then suddenly the other team is already winning, and then okay, so I start rooting for that team, and then the other team turns it around again. It's like crazy. I can't root for anyone. I keep being proved wrong.
I know it's not just, well, this is your usual, we just take the mid, we take the game kind of stuff. This is like anybody can win it.
Yeah, this is on another level, really.
Yeah, so we're seeing direct strike at its finest here. It's a real treat to watch.
Yeah, I think everyone that wants to play at a tourney level or like good at this game should definitely, like, you know, save this replay somewhere. Save this Twitch video. I think this one will be posted on YouTube 100% because there's just no way this game doesn't get posted on YouTube, right? Like, save the link somewhere, and then when you're gonna play, you know, you kind of watch this one to see what you can do when you're ahead, see what you can do when you're behind. Because, man, what a masterclass on how to play this game.
Yeah. I mean, my hands are shaking just by seeing how so much microwing going on here with these Liberators and these Ravens and everything.
See, I blink one time and now already the bottom team is winning again.
Yeah.
Absolutely sick. But you
so
can
now
kind of... Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay. So the question is if imsux can get another big stack against the bottom team and they can push right back. That's the question.
Well, you can kind of see what team is feeling a little bit more confident than the other one, because you can see that Save the Last Dance for us, they're all on one gas. Well, you can see that Wildling Rush, only imsux has a gas, right? The other two members of his team don't have a gas. So you can definitely see that the bottom team is feeling a little bit more confident. They feel safer. Look at this many Ravens stacking. Like, I also feel safe with this many Ravens. That's a lot of turrets.
But I think it's fair to say it's a lot easier to feel safer with 3 Terrans.
Yes, definitely. I can agree to that. Okay, Planetary Fortress is a monster of a building.
Yeah, this could be a big opportunity for the top team to come back. Oh! Liberator's shot out front. I'm not sure if that's what he wanted to do.
I think he's trying to siege on the Thors, which is why he let them go front, so he can siege. You can see that his target was the Thor, not trying to stack. He wasn't trying to clear the bio. He was literally just trying to siege on the Thors, which he did manage to do, but now the anti-armor missile, man, it's so strong against Liberators. Like, these Ravens, there's a reason why they got patched, right? Like, they got patched in the latter game because these Ravens are just so insane. They have so much utility. And I feel like recently the players have really learned how to abuse the Ravens. Like, you get an anti-armor missile on the next wave, and it's so strong with these armies that just have high DPS, like, let's say like Marines that have really high attack speed. They benefit so much from the anti-armor missile.
Hey, that's the thing about Terran. They have like probably 3 of the most powerful units in the whole game. The Thor, the Raven, and the Lid. I mean, those 3 units together are just like almost unstoppable.
Well, yeah, I think that the strength of the Raven, really, like, the number one thing about that the Raven has over other units is that the Liberator can't attack the turrets. Like, that's literally it. That's the main thing about the Raven. Libs are bad against Ravens, right? Like, they can't deal with the turrets. So I think that's... Like, Ravens are one of the worst units, but since they're good against Libs, they see a lot of play.
Yeah, it's basically like the Liberator's Achilles tendon, right? So, that's the one thing that Liberators have a real tough time against, and Thors. But, I mean, Liberators are pretty good against Thors if you get good positioning on them.
Yeah, like, usually at this level, like, you won't see the players miss their sieges, right? Like, they will siege on the Thor perfectly. They're gonna siege... Like, the Lib sieges have been just absolutely amazing, and really you can see how good your sieges are when your Libs are always stacking and it's so back and forth like this. It's because you're getting good sieges. There's just no other way around it. And... yeah,
still,
like,
I mean... One wave you could slip. I mean, experienced players do it all the time. I mean, nobody is completely perfect, right? So there will, be mistakes here and there, which is fine. It's normal.
I will say yes, but you see it the least from these guys, right? Like, the tournament winners, they usually win every tourney. Like, these are the people you expected the least from, right?
Yeah. And now we have a 1-1.
Nice.
What an exciting series.
I can't believe this is like the first match.
I know. It's like, my only question is, how do we follow up to that?
Well, we have to play our match, you against me, and our teams against each other. I don't know if we can deliver these grade of games, to be honest. It's kind of hard to top this. Okay, so we have the next matchup, and it's going to be Protoss Terran from Wildling Rush against Protoss Terran from Save the Last Dance for us. And now, in this matchup where it's TPT from both sides, so Protoss Terran for both sides, the positioning matters a lot. And usually, whoever has the Protoss first wins, because when you have the Protoss first, you're going up against the Terran. You can kind of stack. You can do a PT stack if that Terran decides to go T2. And if that Terran decides to go Bio, then the Protoss can win that wave. And then the Terran that follows you up can just afford to go Bio and kill the other toss with the leak. So I really do favor the team that has the Protoss first. But there are like lots of shenanigans you can do to kind of like play around it. So I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do. They can't both play standard, right? Like, if they both play standard, Wildling Rush has the advantage. So I think we're gonna see standard play coming out of them, and I think we're gonna see really non-standard play coming out of Save the Last Dance for us. Like, they really have to like shake this matchup around some way, somehow. Like maybe some libs for like from somewhere you don't expect. Maybe it's some Banshee play. Like we need to see something really different, non-standard from Save the Last Dance for us. So I think we have to pay a lot of attention to that, and I think it's going to be really exciting. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I was going to say, it sounds like you got everything planned out. You pretty much called the whole game before it happened. So, no, those are all really good points. But again, you never know when a player is going to throw a curveball or throw a wrench in the game and just completely surprise everybody. Because I've seen that happen before as well. And that's what I think makes these games exciting, because there's always that possibility, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think Save the Last Dance for us is gonna play standard. Like, I think they're gonna go something wacky here and try to steal the game from what should be a disadvantaged matchup. It's gonna be really exciting. I can't wait to see what they do. I genuinely can't wait.
Yeah, I like games like that where you just see this just some play from out there in the field, just you don't expect it, nobody expects it, and then it works somehow. That's what I like to see.
Okay, so instant T2 out of Magoo. Interesting. So not Kachar this time. Kachar is the pro toss. So it's not Shadowsonic playing the toss. It's going to be Kachar. Man, they rotated once again. It's going to be really fun. I don't know if they're going to be able, if they're going to expect this coming out of Magoo. And I can't wait to see what Magoo can do with his tier 2 lip control.
Well, what's nice about this is unexpected, right? Because Kachar's been playing in a Terran, he's been using libs, so this is going to maybe throw the top team off a little bit.
Okay, no armor upgrade from Kachar. He's very confident he can beat Sux. Also, yeah, it is Sux against Kachar in the same lane. So that's also very interesting, two teammates going off against one another as rival opponents.
Oh, it's always nice to see teammates against each other.
It is true. Team kills are kind of a favorite for people. They're really sad for the players, but it's always fun to watch because once you see teammates going off against one another, they kind of know how each other think. So they kind of do try to outsmart and mind game each other. Like here we see what we were talking about.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep, like they throw a wrench in there, right? Like they're throwing a curveball. Magoo with cloaked banshees, and I'm not sure if anyone from the top team actually has T2 to be able to deal with these banshees.
These all look like full armies from the top team. You see imsux going he's going to go T2 to try to stop this in its tracks. Let's see how long they can milk this 2 Banshee build.
Yeah, because Banshees is really strong when it comes out, and then it's awful. Like, it's completely bad. So, and it's not kind of like completely unexpected, right? Like, I think once we saw it in the tournament when we did it against you guys in the lower bracket finals, I think like people already know about it. Like, now it's a common strategy. I feel like everyone's kind of aware and has practiced against it. So I kind of do want to see how Groove deals with it. And you can see that Groove is dealing with it because he didn't sell his adepts. Like, right when usually you play against this kind of strategy, you see your opponent going for some air army. You're like, okay, these adepts are going to be useless. Let me sell them. But you do want to keep your adepts against Banshee because usually the follow-up after Banshees is Marauders. And so you can see that the stock or the Banshees are kind of not paying off right now. These Stalkers from Groove are surviving, and they're stacking with Marines. This is going to be a lot of damage to the Shadowsonic's wave.
So I would have liked to see a full Banshee build by Magoo, since usually one scan is not enough to kill them all, which kind of forces that player to go T2 as well. So now it's going to be difficult now.
Yeah, you do need like 6 Banshees so that the Stalkers can clear them. But only 2 Banshees, like, yeah, they're gonna have a scan available right now because imsux is T2. Let's see if he uses it. He's not. Okay, there's the scan. And he blinks back as well, really nice. So trying to make the Stalker stay alive as long as possible. And now imsux is going to catch up. You can see that the imsux's Marines are front. There is a Liberator. Yep, go ahead.
That was a really good siege right there. Just spot on. Great siege. And now this is going to be very hard for the bottom team to deal with.
Yeah, you can see that, like, it's if you see Shadowsonic's wave, he's mass Marine and he's facing off against Marauder Reaper. So I'm not sure how he's going to be able to ever deal with his wave. I don't see a way how he can do it. Like, I think he has to sell or do something because right now.
So Shadow fold. He's gonna go Lib Raven, I think, or pure Lib. Looks like.
Okay, that's very interesting because the Banshees, well, they're air units, right? Like they can kind of catch up to the Libs and protect them from other attacks. So, but I would like to see Magoo going. Actually, this is kind of weird. If you see the way they're positioned right now, Shadowsonic is front, so he's trying to stack with Kachar, and Kachar is on the bottom. He's at the back. That's so kind of a weird. I don't know. That was a weird siege from Shadow. Some of his Libs went down there.
Like that's the Lib doing twist. Let's twist again, like we did last summer.
Okay, +1 armor, really good, but the anti-armor missile, man, is so strong. Like, there was like 12 Marines or something dealing with like 4 Libs just because of the anti-armor missile, man. That's so... Anti-armor missile is just so strong with Marines. Okay, and already a Disruptor coming out from Groove, so Kachar is gonna have a really hard time. Let's see how the blink is gonna be. Okay, blinks away, only 1 Stalker.
But I mean, since top team started with full T1 armies in bio, it's going to be very heavy bio late game. Okay. So if you look at Sodon's wave, he has so much bio.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of Marines, and this is basically a pure air army. The only thing that's really saving them really hard is the anti-armor missile. Like, these Ravens, even though they're +2 armor, since the anti-armor missile gives -3 armor, it's like -1. So the Marines actually get a damage boost. It's pretty crazy. But some Liberators did survive. The only issue I see is that Magoo's wave is so weak.
Magoo has no mines to distract the Disruptor shots, so his Marauders are just going down.
Okay, Liberator sieged perfectly on top of the Marines, so they are being well protected and covered there.
Well, the Libs are taking a lot of damage from that Marine fleet right there.
Yeah, I think Shadowsonic is still T2, right? He doesn't have advanced ballistic yet, so he's having a really hard time. I'd really like to see him get advanced ballistics, maybe go back and try to stack with Magoo instead of Kachar.
So if you're in a series like this, I think players start to get a little bit exhausted after a couple games because they have to refocus every game and play it. You know, they have to stay focused, which gets kind of difficult when you're in so many intense games. If you've played in a lot of tournaments, then you kind of start feeling it after the first couple games if they're really intense, you know.
Yeah, this is a best of 5. Best of 5 is no joke 5 games is a lot of games. That's what, like 2 hours and 30 minutes of playing at least. Like that's a lot of games and a lot of time playing, being hyper focused on what's happening, and you have to come up with strategies. It's very stressful. Like I'm not gonna lie, it is,
and it's hard to not give up and keep that like winning mentality, and just
especially when you get, especially when you get countered really hard. It's like your mentality just kind of like goes away, right? Like you lose all confidence in your builds. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, like this game is very one-sided, and this can kind of win can demoralize teams a bit.
Disruptor shots are gonna land on the Nexus. It's gonna go down. Yeah, GG is called, and imsux, Groove manages to kill the Nexus with 3 disruptor shots shot from afar. And now Wildling Rush takes a convincing game number 3, only 9 minutes long. So that Protoss, before the other Protoss, really advantaged here. TVT is a nightmare to play.
Yeah, it is, but actually it's like my favorite matchup.
Such a nightmare. Because there's options, right? Like you're not forced into going one type of strategy when you're playing Terran. Like the Terran has so many different tools, so many things you have to look out for. Like suddenly you're going Marauder Reaper, and then your opponent has Libs, and you're like, okay, I'm dead. All right. Sometimes you go Lib Raven, and then your opponent is on Mass Marine, and like, okay, I'm dead. Fine, I get it. I'm dead. It's like it's so hard to get the right balance, but I think I'm learning a lot seeing imsux just like trying to just like soft T2. If you look at the games where imsux has played TVT, he's kind of been like more soft T2, where he like waits to confirm what the opponent is doing before really committing to anything. It's like, and once he sees that his opponent's going Marine, it's like, okay, my opponent's Marines, I'm gonna make Marauder Reaper. It's like, okay, my opponent makes T2, I'm gonna go T2 Ravens. So like, he's really been waiting for the opponent. So I'm really learning a lot from watching these games. Maybe I don't want to say too much because I'm going up against you next, but
well, there's no doubt he's definitely a crafty player, but I think all players have their style that they use, which I think is important because otherwise I think the game of direct strike would be too bland. So I like to see players having their different styles.
Okay, so Sux is going T2. He just finished his T2. He went 2 Marauders only. And Shadowsonic is Marauder Reaper. Let's see what Shadow is going to add. Look, we're going to pay a lot of attention to whatever Shadow builds, because imsux is definitely going T2. And where is that scan? I'm not sure where he scanned. I'm not sure who scanned who.
So this is a match point for the bottom team. So it comes down to this game.
Okay, no real commitment coming out of Kachar just yet. He's soft T2ing, so he doesn't know if he's going to commit to T2 yet. And he's going to see the Sodon only has 3 Marauders. I'm not sure what he's going to do here. Sodon is kind of also waiting on Kachar to commit to something before he builds. So they're kind of both waiting for the other player to reveal their cards before they decide on doing something. Okay, but here we have Shadowsonic going Mass Marine, and that's actually the amazing call. imsux is T2, and he's not going to be able to clear this many Marines. All the Liberators are going down, and the advantage is definitely going in for Wildling Rush. This is a really great call from Shadow. He sold his Marauders, he sold his Reapers, and now I'm not sure what imsux is going to do. He tried to go for a cheeky little strategy with the T2 against the Marauder Reaper, but Shadowsonic pulled a fast one there.
Yeah, no, Shadowsonic definitely making the right call, and it's going to be very difficult for T2 Terran to deal with this Marine army.
That's like a very ballsy move as well. Just sow Marauder Reaper without confirming what your opponent is doing, and then commit to Marines. Or maybe that was where the scan was. Who knows?
For me, it makes sense because you see a lot of Lib play in these games from Terran, so I think it makes it a lot more possible to occur. So sometimes taking that gamble and going blind could be the right call. which kind of doesn't make sense probably to a lot of players, but it can definitely work, as you're seeing right here. Sometimes you got to go with your instincts.
Okay, is there gonna be a scan? Scan is a little bit late. I would have liked to see the scan a little bit earlier. Groove has so many adepts, man. This is actually gonna be enough to clear Magoo. Okay, now here comes Kachar with his own mass liberators. He has 5 libs, and Sodon does have a lot of Marauder Reaper. I don't know if this is gonna be enough. Let's see how the blinks are from Groove. Oh, one auto blink, maybe not the best. Okay, really good siege out of Kachar, manually selecting one of the Ravens, unsieging it and sieging it where it has to be. Really good. Now, but this is a lot of libs from imsux. This is what, 7 liberators? Okay, yeah, but it doesn't matter. And one of the libs wasn't even sieged.
This kind of is more of an advantage for the top team since Shadow's army is pure Marine, while Sodon's is a mix of Reaper, Marauder, and mostly Marine heavy. So
you can see that the Liberator managed to kill the 2 sentries from Groove, so Magoo is gonna have a blast dealing with this army.
Oh, wow.
They kind of scanned anyway, but they didn't even need the scan. It was just so sick that the Liberator was able to clear the 2 sentries. That's such a key point.
So there's not going to be enough Marines to deal with this air stack.
I mean, I don't want to call it 2 yet because I've been wrong every single time, but it looks like Save the Last Dance for us has an insane advantage right now. So many libs, man.
Here comes the anti-armor missile. Yes.
Yeah, you can see like once the anti-armor missile comes online, the Liberators just melt like butter.
And the cannon goes down. That's well done by top team. They know that this series is on the line, and they're giving it their all here and making good calls. So.
Yeah, the Mass Marine has been really strong right now, but I think this has to come down a little bit also to the matchups that they got, right? Like, for some reason, Save the Last Dance for us was kind of trying to win the mirror races, where, like, you know, both teams have a Protoss and both teams is a Terran. But Wildling Rush has been able to win all those games. And the games that Save the Last Dance for us have been able to win is the one where they're actually favored with the triple Terran against the Protoss Terran. Wait, no, this is... Oh no, Shadowsonic, he disabled stim! There was no stim on those Marines. Those Liberators, just barely any damage. They have +2 armor, so they were just able to completely survive.
Man.
That's a big blunder coming out of Shadow.
Well, Magoo scans, but there's 3 Ravens. Not sure if that was necessary. This could be a little bit of a panic right here. That's a lot of Stalkers stacking with Bio.
That's so many Marines. Look at the amount of Marines that Sodon has. It's like 40 Marines. These Liberators are not enough to clear the Marines, and Wildling Rush turns it around. Just as I was saying that Save the Last Dance for us was looking really good. The bottom team managed to turn this game around. Sick. Okay, but look at this now. imsux has no way to deal with these Ravens. So they are going to survive. I'm not sure how much they're going to be able to do, though.
The Marauders are killing the turrets, though, so it's keeping the Liberators alive.
Yeah, and like, look, you can see that there's what, 5 Liberators still alive, and Magoo's army is attacking the Adept Stalker, not really being able to deal with the Liberators.
Alright, this is a big moment here. Let's see how well they can stack on this bunker, these Liberators.
Sodon has a lot of Marines, but that's a lot of libs as well. Okay, let's see the anti-armor missile from Sodon. Is he going to be... No anti-armor missile. So the Marines are
Sorry,
having
Shadow.
Yeah, no anti-armor missile coming out of Sodon on Kachar's libs. So the libs are going to survive. Now let's see how this goes.
There's going to be a lot of turrets right here.
Oh, and the disables are so strong. Look, there's barely any Liberator attacking still, and the turrets are underneath the libs. They all go down at the same time. Libs are completely
very well
cleared.
played by Shadow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
Shadow
well
with the masked Raven manages to stack with Kachar, and the game is suddenly back in their favor.
Yeah, this is a lot of Ravens coming from top team. This is going to be very hard to stop now. Top team giving it everything they have.
Yeah, well, this is not their tournament life on the line. They still, even if they lose, they still get to play in the lower bracket. But this is their last life on this match. If they lose this game, they're out of the match, right? Like, they're going to be thrown into the lower bracket. So they really have to come with their all if they want a chance at winning, at, you know, keeping their life.
Yeah. But, I mean, these teams are so competitive. I think they're probably playing like they had no extra lives in this tournament. Which is good. You want to play that way.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see that all the players are taking this tournament very seriously. You know, it is kind of random teams. You're not with your regular teammates, so it's kind of a little bit of a different experience for everyone. But I still like everyone like kind of, you know, getting along with their teammates. They were practicing. They've been practicing over the weekend. It's really showing. Like, these games have been so sick. I think if one of the teams was not practicing at this point, I think this is probably a good time to start practicing. Because these are not easy games at all.
No. Like, my hands are shaking just watching it.
One of us is... Well, both of us are going to face one of these two teams in the next round. No matter what happens. So, yeah. Probably good to be shaking.
No, I think, you know, we've played with all these guys a lot, and we know you know, what they're capable of. We know that they know the comeback strategies, and I think they're all going to be really good games.
Okay, so the gases are even for both teams, so none of the teams are really feeling very comfortable right now. They're both trying to prevent the other team from stacking as much as possible. And, you know, it's kind of interesting that we actually see that Kachar and imsux are the ones that have gas and not the other teammates. Okay, this is a lot of Lib Ravens. This is... There's Liberators, there's Ravens of every single color from the bottom side here. That's going to be a lot of turrets being deployed. Let's see how far they can go. The Liberators are in front of the Ravens, so they kind of do go down. There's only one left alive. And Groove kind of manages to stack. Now let's see these Disruptor. Oh, misses one. The second one does kind of connect. 10 kills. Yeah, I can't complain about this Disruptor. It's really good.
But one Liberator is not enough.
Yeah, that's kind of an issue. Protoss is not really that strong against Bio in this stage of the game.
Yeah, especially late game, because the mines can really distract those shots, and if they're not dead on and all that Bio pours in, you're in a lot of trouble.
Okay, this is some Liberators surviving, but there's no ground army from imsux. Or there is, but they're at the back. And the Liberators are going to go down before the army reaches.
That is a lot of Ravens from Shadows. Good anti-armor in the middle.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the top team has had middle for so long that they kind of have just more minerals. This is the good old rule of RTS where more beats less. So if you just have the middle for so long, for like 10 minutes, then you can just have more than your opponents and win. And it does seem like we're getting close to that point where the top team just has like more.
Yeah, and the longer this game goes this way, is the stronger and stronger and more unstoppable the Terran army becomes. When the big units start coming out.
Oh no, I think I saw like 3 or 4 anti-armor missiles on just one unit. And the unit was dead anyway, so like I think I saw like so many anti-armor missiles just missing there.
Yeah, I think that's what they call overkill.
Definitely.
And now you see the big units coming out, the Thors and the Ravens, and this is.
And this also, the Liberators are just being in front of the Ravens. Like, the Ravens are not protecting the Liberators at all, so they're not really doing their job. But you know what I actually find really interesting in this match is that we haven't seen a single Viking. And I think Viking was like something that was being played a lot in in-houses and in the last tournament. I'm kind of very interested to see that there's been 0 Vikings this whole match with so many Terrans and so many air stacks. You think that's saying a message?
That's a good point. I really don't know. Like I said, I think a lot of these games, players have a style. And they have their method of doing things that work for them. Perhaps they're not really into Viking play. I don't know. I think Vikings definitely have their use, but
Vikings are amazing against preventing lib stack, right? And if there's lib stacking against you, then you can kind of try to prevent it with the Vikings, you know, mitigate the damage and not let them survive yet another wave. So you can kind of always clear the libs if you have some Vikings. It's kind of good, but if you're behind, then they're kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean that's my one like discrepancy with the Ravens is once you start pushing the Nexus, the Ravens just get shot down by the Nexus if you get too close. So the Vikings will always stay in the air shooting the air. So
kind of a bad siege there from Kachar. I think he could have sieged there a lot better.
And we got a BC like wiggling around in there.
Uncharacteristic play coming out of him.
There's just so many Ravens though from Shadow.
Yeah, but Groove is here and he's gonna catch Sucks. But the thing is, like, there's so many Thors attacking the Lib Raven, but there's barely any Libs alive. There's only 4 Libs. And again, imsux with not a great siege there. That siege was... I'm pretty sure he could have sieged a lot better than that. And
so yeah, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, even the best players in the dress strike will start getting fatigued, start getting exhausting from microing round after round after round, and you know, human error will take its toll.
Yeah, we can see that even the kitties are pretty human, you know.
I mean, we're not machines, right? We're gonna make mistakes, and that's just how it is in competitive sports, you know.
Oh, actually, I think the issue that imsux has, my bad, I want to correct this. imsux, I thought, had tier 3 libs, but he only has tier 2 libs. That's why C just looked kind of weird.
Oh, this is a comeback. He has a lot of marauders to kill the turrets of Shadow.
Okay, and 2 carriers coming out of Groove. There's so many Ravens here. They're gonna be able to clear this no problem. And Wildling Rush somehow, some way turning it around, but I'm not confident that they can keep this up, because this is a one-time stack where you get like all 3 colors at once. But once this gets cleared and people start facing their own waves again, I think that the top team is gonna be able to turn it around. Maybe I'm wrong, but the mineral advantage has been so sick that if the top team does manage to face a clean wave, I think they can get back on this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have so many Thors and Ravens, and they can definitely stack back up.
Oh my god, this is so many turret. See, this is why they're getting nerfed. Like, look at how many turrets are being deployed at one point, and they just keep deploying turrets over and over again. This is why Ravens are gonna get nerfed. And imsux, it's kind of interesting. I'm seeing imsux. He has like, what, 8, 9 libs, and they're still D2. He does not have advanced ballistics. He doesn't even have attack upgrades on the libs. That's so crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, like it's easy for us to watch and just kind of comment on things like that, but we don't really know what's going on through their heads or what they, you know, what they want to do, right? So.
Again, this is kind of a stack. This is a lot of Liberators from Kachar with Shadowsonic. This is what, 8 Liberators against imsux, and imsux does not have a lot of good anti-air, so I'm not sure how he's going to be able to clear the libs. I mean, he does have the Ravens, but Magoo is here to clear those turrets out.
Now we see the counter stack.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, where they have so much more minerals than their opponents that I don't see a way where they're going to be able to see. Now Groove has to clear his wave, and this is where I think he's not going to be able. The Protoss is just so weak against these stacks. Maybe if he was a Terran, he'd be able to do this, but with just carriers and like the general Toss army, you're so weak against Thor, Liberator, Raven.
Yeah, Groove is trying to snipe the Thors with the Disruptors, but some of them still survived, and with the Liberator support, it's just too much.
Yeah, the BCs are tanking like a champ. Those Marines do absolutely nothing against those BCs, and the Libs.
+3 armor, they're going to do nothing, pretty much.
Yup, +3 armor. How's the attack upgrades? Oh yeah, okay, so he has +3.
Yeah,
But
so the BCs are just going to smile back at the Marines and just take these shots.
if there was an anti-armor missile, maybe I can start believing. But just like this, I think the bottom team is pretty dead.
Well, that would be the only saving grace, right? if that doesn't hit, and here comes a monster Terran stack. A valiant effort put up from the bottom to try to take it over, which they did, but this Terran is just too much. And this is where Terran really shines in the late game with all the extra income.
Yeah, and you can see that like they have the gas advantage, they have the middle advantage, they have just about every advantage. They have their late game armies that they want. Like, it's 21 minutes. They've had enough time to prepare the absolute army that they want. And it has a lot of Ravens, a lot of Libs, BCs, Thors, all these high-tiered units. Like, I think the top team already has everything that they want to close out this game and put it on lock for their side. So, very interesting, and we're gonna get we might get the 5th game from this match. Who would you favor for the 5th game?
Oh, wow. That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, so the Nexus is trying to attack BCs, and it's not gonna be enough. The Thor's locked down on the Nexus, and it goes down. GG is called, and Save the Last Dance for us takes game number 4, and we're going all the way to game number 5.
It saved the last dance for us. How ironic, huh?
Yep, living up to their name. Okay, so we have the final matchup confirmed now. It's gonna be Protoss Terran against Triple Terran. And so far, when it's looked like this, just speaking on past experience alone, right? Like, during this match, Save the Last Dance for us have won every single time that it's looked like this. So I really want to see a curveball coming out from the top team, from Wildling Rush, or otherwise they're gonna get thrown into the lower bracket. And I really like this for Save the Last Dance for us, Triple Terran. It's like, you know, why change what isn't broken, right? Like, if it's not broken, why fix it? So they're gonna try this strategy a 3rd time, and I think they're really playing into the fact that Wildling Rush is predictable, you know? Like, Groove can only play Toss, or has only played Toss so far. Maybe he's hiding something from us, but he's usually only played Toss when I see him. And that is predictable, right? Like, it forces you to not go triple Terran. It forces you to not go 2 Terran, 1 Zerg. It really like makes you focus on just PTT. And well, then you really need strong PTT to be able to beat the matchups where you're disadvantaged. And this is so far they haven't been able to do that.
Yep, so I think you're going to see both these teams at their very best. This is the decider for this series. And I think we're going to see a really heck of a game.
Okay, Groove opening with the standard Tree Adept Sentry. I think that's literally the most standard of standard play. And also Magoo skipping a wave, very standard so far. Now imsux is gonna try what he did the other game again. He's went 2 Marauders, this time he added a Reaper, and he's gonna go T2, and he's probably gonna go Lib. So I'm very curious to see what Shadow... Oh, Shadow's already preparing for it, as you can see. So Shadow already has many Marines. He hasn't sold this time, which is a little bit different, but he's already adding Marines, so he does smell what is happening. Maybe imsux being a little bit too predictable here.
Yeah, I mean, if a Terran is ready for a T2 type of play, it can be very, very hard to deal with late game. Because the Terran will just have so much advantage in the late game.
Oh, that is so key. A scan on Kachar revealing the fact that he is tier 2.
Oh.
And now Sodon is going to be able to prepare accordingly and make mass Marines. This is really good play out of them. And imsux is going to leak 1 Liberator, but I don't believe the Liberator is going to be able to contribute that much. Let's see, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, the Liberator got 2 shots. That's already strong enough. Okay, never mind. The Liberator is so strong. Not enough Marines from Sodon, even though he saw the fact that Kachar was Liberators.
So we have a draw here on the Libs. This is going to be devastating for the Protoss, this 1 Liberator. Nice blink away with the Adepts to stop the Liberators from attacking.
Yeah, no, those shades were absolutely amazing. I think that literally saved Groove, and now Kachar's Lib was barely doing any damage. Okay, maybe not that auto blink, but yeah, really strong play coming out from the teams. I think they're not doing that many mistakes, but the problem is that Shadow has so many Marines, and imsux was... Well, actually, as I say that +1 armor from... imsux is really strong. Shadowsonic has not gotten +1 attack. That is such a huge mistake when you're going up against Liberators. You can see that Liberator had +1 armor, while the Marines had +0 attack. That makes such a huge difference. You can see that imsux is stacking. Yeah, go ahead.
You have to pretty much squeeze the life out of those Marines to kill every single Liberator.
Yeah, okay, and here comes the scan now. Because the way that... Yeah, the way this played out, Groove was not able to repeat the same thing where he blinked his Adepts away, or shaded them away. He tried to, but the Liberator got a lot of value. You can see that the Lib has 12 kills, and now imsux is going to get cleaned by Shadow. So, even though he had +0 attack, now he does correct that mistake. He has +1 attack now. And he's going to be able to clear. Okay, that's a lot of Marines, but Kachar is ready. He's already transitioning a little bit. You know, he has a lot of Reapers. He has 4 Libs as well with +2 armor. Sodon is not ready for this. And now Groove is going to have a very hard time. Protoss can barely deal with a leak like of 2 Marauders, let alone a leak of like 4 Liberators, and this is really painful for them.
Yeah, Terran with Liberator support versus Protoss is really devastating.
Yeah, the Protoss basically wins off the fact that their armor is so strong, but if your armor just gets, you know, ignored because the Liberator just has so much DPS, then it doesn't matter. Okay, now we gotta talk about what's happening right now. imsux has 4 Liberators stacking with Sodon, and Sodon already has a Raven. Let's see how good his Raven is going to be. Okay, just a turret. But the turret survives.
Was huge.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Okay, the turret burned down. Never mind.
I mean, the Marine barely got that bunker. That was a huge moment. Almost didn't get it. But so many Liberators stacking on the Protoss.
Sick.
Bio.
Yeah, but that sick disruptor shot, 9 kills, but it's not gonna be enough. The Liberators just don't care. They still are alive. They do not care about disruptor shots at all. Now, imsux has no way to deal with these lips.
Yeah, and I think this goes back to your point about Protoss being late game at a disadvantage now.
Yeah, when you're playing with the Protoss. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You explain it.
Yeah, especially with a team of 3 Terran, it almost just eliminates the Protoss from the game because of all of the tools that the Terran team has. And it's just too much, and it's very difficult to push back with that Protoss with Raven Liberator, right?
Yeah, to be a little bit more specific, like the Protoss has to win basically on the first 5 minutes. Like, if you have a Protoss, you need to be ahead in the first 5 minutes, because after those first 5 minutes, the Protoss is gonna be awful, and it just keeps like I don't know how to say this. Like, it just keeps getting worse and worse over time, like exponentially when you're behind. You really need to take that early game, and I don't think they have. So I think so far this game is looking very good for the bottom team. I think Save the Last Dance for us must kind of be celebrating right now. Like, look at this. The Liberators from Kachar just cleared imsux's libs.
I think that the problem with the Protoss in this type of game is that Protoss are just not good against leaks, right? Like if Protoss are going against a wave with leaks, they're like probably the weakest in the game, right?
I think it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the match, where triple Terran is just favored against Protoss Terran. It is what it is, right? Like, Protoss is just not very strong against 3 Terrans.
Yeah.
They can't really clear the stack very well. They usually, if there's a Protoss, the Liberators are going to stack somehow, and you can see that all these games. Save the Last Dance for us has been able to just stack a lot of Liberators and deal with the Marines from the next wave. Okay, so now they are on a bit of a window right now for Wildling Rush. They only have a certain amount of time before the mineral advantage becomes too strong for the bottom team. Like, you can see the bottom team's already taken 1 gas, so they feel very confident that they're ahead. And I just don't see this. They only have, like, I think you want to push with lib stack before 12 minutes. So that's kind of like what we're paying attention to right now. Is Wildling Rush going to be able to come back in the next 3 minutes?
Sure, because this bio is spread pretty well. Let's see how good the disruptor shots are. Oh, didn't really get that much.
9 kills across 3 disruptors, 3 kills each. Yeah, I don't think that's worth 750 minerals.
Well, that's the thing with disruptors, that they all have to be spot on, or they're almost useless. Like, they don't get the minerals back unless you hit them, right?
Right, yeah, if you miss, it's so bad, like so bad. Like, you might as well just made any other unit and it would have been better. You really need to get those baller shots. But you usually can only do that when you're ahead, right? Like, when you're behind and you're using disruptors, it feels so painful. And you can see that Groove is trying to do something really cute here, where he has all the disruptors on one side and he's trying to use them to hit his wave. The only issue is that it's Lib Raven that is that's the wave it's facing. So it's being very hard for him to be able to deal with the Lib Raven and then a mass bio push after that. Like, Protoss just can't deal with it. They need help to be able to deal with a Lib Raven followed by a bio push.
You know, but to be fair, I understand the Protoss not being as strong in this matchup. To be fair, I think we have to give Shadow a lot of credit because he did predict the Liberator build. So that does help his team out a lot too.
Yeah, no, they've been doing an amazing job at that. They've been made bio, like Marines, at exactly the right times that they have had to. And that's actually kind of been a treat to watch, where it's kind of a mind game. They don't even have to scan each other. They kind of already know what the other team is going to do. Or they're throwing the dice and winning the dice roll. Either or.
So, the bottom team is just starting to stack Ravens. Ravens upon Ravens.
Okay, now we see imsux with his next unit of choice is going to be, and it's not BC or Raven, it's actually going to be Thor. And I don't really like the Thor here from imsux because the Thor is kind of weak against the mass Liberator coming out from... See, there's so many colors here, man. I can't even tell whose unit is
I know, it looks tough. The problem is Ravens can just easily disable them, and the turrets do a lot of damage to the Thors. And yeah, it's just a rough position to be in.
Again, as I was saying, like, we had to pay special attention to the 12-minute mark because that's usually about the time that you really need to push when you're playing this lib from behind kind of style. This is your favorite window. Like, not to say that you can't do it afterwards. Like, there's definitely been a lot of cases where players have been able to do it afterwards, but 12 minutes is really the sweet mark where if you manage to do it, like, you feel like you still have a shot at the game, right? Like, you can keep your advantage. Afterwards, it gets rougher and rougher.
That's just
yeah.
So many Ravens. That's so many Ravens.
Wait, what was that Raven throw? What are these turrets from Shadow at the back?
There's so many Ravens, I can't even tell how many there are.
Okay, and Vikings finally making their appearance in this match. We get to see a couple
First time.
Yeah, it's about time too.
Show some love for some Vikings.
I mean, I don't mind this army from Groove. He has Immortals and Carriers. It's just, man, the race. The Protoss race. Okay, Vikings are stacked, and they're going to be able to clear the libs, which is, like, literally the Vikings' role. But there's not enough. Like, the mass bio army behind, or below Magoo's army is just so strong. So many Marines below those Ravens.
Do you think there's any chance the top team can come back somehow?
No. I don't believe so.
Looks very dire.
Yeah, it looks really bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you can see Kachar already has Thors out. It's not like he has one Thor. He already has 3 Thors out.
But yeah, you're correct though. I think the only chance that PTT has a win is if they have to win the early game hard, like decisively, and hold it.
Yeah, and they weren't able to do so against these players.
Yeah, it's because the Liberators stacked on the bio, and that's really hard on the Protoss.
Okay, and I see a comment here from Jersel. Hi, Jersel. Where he said that rapid fire libs are kind of backfiring here because you can see that the libs are kind of overkilling the same Marine. So you can see like 2 or 3 libs shooting at the same Marine. So you would have gotten the same value out of having 5 libs than you do out of having like 10 libs. Because if they're all shooting the same thing, then you're not getting really a lot of value out of having more libs. So sometimes you don't want to have that many libs. You just want to get like BCs or something to tank for the libs so that the libs survive. And you know, to be fair, like sometimes what you want to tag for the libs is just, well, more libs in front. But I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing it. This siege from sucks. It did its job, but man, the Thors from Magoo just cleaning everything.
I feel at this point in the game, it's all about the Ravens.
Okay, but
the Raven, yeah.
Yeah, BC's making an appearance. What do you think?
Why not? You know, I mean, at this point, why not? There's so much advantage now. They're triple Terran. They're kind of just showing their might, and it's a BC with the Thor on the bottom is pretty intimidating because they're just massive units. So, and they can soak up a lot of damage. So why not?
Actually, a stack is forming here from Vikings. Groove is going to have... This is the best chance that I've seen for Wildling Rush to come back at this game. I think if they don't do it right here, right now, they're not going to get another chance at this. But the Marines from Magoo are just cleaning all the ground units. And even though it looked really strong with all the colors there for Wildling Rush, Magoo just clears everything.
That was a very, very good pushback and very close. Really good shots sniping the Thors. That was really impressive from the top team.
Yeah, but that was actually their last window to turn this game around, I believe.
Most likely, because the bottom team is just going to start stacking Thors and BCs and Ravens and all the big units.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see how confident they are that I've said this whole match basically. Whoever gets gas first is just saying a message that they're feeling really confident that they got this and they can move on to the next stage of the game. And all the bottom team has gas, while the top team does not have a gas yet. And it's been like 17 minutes where the bottom team just has had the middle advantage. So they took down the bunker. That's 375 minerals for the team. They've had minerals for like 17 minutes. I don't think you've seen a
single player 2 gas yet, have we?
Actually don't remember. I think I saw it once or twice in these games, but I think they prefer to stay very low gas counts.
So both teams definitely respecting the other in that aspect, which is really good because I think a lot of players will get overzealous and they'll start getting relaxed and just taking gases and just kind of falling back, and you really can't do that in these games.
How many anti-armor missiles did Shadow just use?
That
was like 7 anti-armor missiles at once. That was pretty funny to see.
You just let it all go.
Okay, so Sodon finally going T3. And again, we have a stack of every single color, but it's just an air army. An air army does not have a good shot at dealing with like 40 Marines. These 40 Marines are going to clear this no problem. The anti-armor missile lands, so the Marines are doing even more damage. And with the turrets below them, like, turrets have a very high DPS.
That's the problem with Liberators against like a Thor bio army is they have to kill so many Marines just to get to the Thors, right? Because it's kind of very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and the Thors are very chunky. Like they deal a lot of damage. They do like 70 damage. Like it's something like 30 per attack, and they attack twice every second. It's so insane. Like this DPS is so good. But mostly it's about really the Thor range is really the key here, right? Like the Thor has 11 range. That's so insane. Okay, now we have a lot of Immortals just getting dropped dead by the Liberators. Look at all these Liberators. Immortals not living up to their names. They're dying very quickly.
Yeah, this is like kind of a nightmarish army here. Thor, see the 3 units I'm talking about. Thor, Raven, Lib. It's just it's a menace.
Yeah, it's really a threat, especially if you're behind against them. It's really a threat. Okay, Shadowsonic blanketing the whole army of Sodon with anti-armor missiles. Okay, see, Groove now has 6 carriers. I like carriers, but it's carriers against Thor, Libs, Ravens. Like, look, Magoo has the same amount of Thors that Groove has carriers. And, you know, when you have carriers attacking BCs, and there's 6 Thors behind the BC, like, it's not even a fair fight, right? Like,
no, it's not.
Yep, so... Save the Last Dance for us already has their dream army at preventing imsux from stacking. Imsux is still trying hard. He has tanks, but the tanks are getting cleared by Lib, so like it, you know, I think
I mean,
at this point,
that right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's an ominous army right there. I mean, look how many Thors, a whole row of Thors.
Yeah, these are 833 Thors. This is definitely very scary.
That's just too much.
Yeah, and I think we're reaching the point where it's only a matter of time before Save the Last Dance for us wins this game. Now, I'm sure the players won't give up yet because, well, like, you know, if you lose, you get thrown into the lower bracket and they're gonna face one of us. And like the lower bracket has to play even more matches to get to the finals. I don't think you ever want to be in that position where you're 1 match away from getting eliminated. So the teams are trying their best, but now we're getting to the point, okay, a lot of Thors are going to siege on the planetary fortress. So many Marauders attack the PF. It goes down. GG is called. Save the Last Dance for us. Turns it around from a 2-1 to a 3-2 score for them.
Great series. Both teams did a great job. I think that at the end of the day, it's the people that watch the stream that are the actual winners because it was a heck of a series.